What is up, guys? It is Styx here, and today I'm going over one of the more underrated characters in Destiny Rising. Attal is an arc precision-based character. She is regarded as a support, and I haven't seen very much discourse on her. Maybe because people think of her as just a worse version of Tan 2, or because she isn't as flashy as some of the mythic characters. This build will take advantage of not only her strong supporting capabilities, but will also turn them into self-sustain that greatly improves her general survivability and her damage output. 90% of people who watch the channel aren't subscribed, so if you're not, please do so. There's no need to click the notification bell or anything like that. You won't get any notifications for my videos. Thank you, and let's continue. Getting immediately into Attal's relic abilities, her passive is very simple. Anytime you cast a signature ability, you get a buff called Mince Joy for 6 seconds. Mince Joy restores a pretty significant amount of health per second and grants 10% acceleration, which is basically a speed buff. You can repeatedly apply this effect, which extends its duration to a max duration of 10 seconds. This is important to note for later. Her primary signature ability is Mint Mend. This is a healing and recovery ability. This means that it can either be tapped to be used on yourself, or it can be held down and then aimed at an ally in order to use on them. It heals you once for one burst, but then of course applies Mince Joy to yourself whenever you use it on yourself or an ally. Her second signature is Arc Missile. Attal fires an Arc Missile that ricochets between targets, dealing damage and inflicting Serenity. Serenity decreases the target's movement speed by 50%, and repeatedly applying Serenity inflicts the target with a blind, which disorients them and makes them struggle to aim their weapons. It essentially makes them less threatening in combat, so it can be well focused on higher priority targets. Her super is Song of Faith. Attal will enter her super, and then she will be able to fire bird-shaped arc projectiles at combatants. This is either pretty good for ad clear, or it's very threatening in something like Shifting Gates or PvP, due to the high damage resist and damage. Her relic traits amplify her abilities very well. First of all, you have Song of Peace, which activates Mint's own super whenever you use Attal's and lasts for 20 seconds. While Mint's super is active, everyone within 6 meters of you will get health restored every second. It's not quite to the strength of your passive, but it is a very nice bit of healing. Her second relic trait is Speak Softly. Whenever you hit the same target twice with Mini Missile, which is her weapon mastery that we're going to go over in a second, it inflicts an additional stack of Serenity, which of course gets you closer to a blind. Her third relic trait is probably the most important one here for the build we're going with today. Mince Mend's max number of charges is increased to 2. Her weapon mastery is pretty simple. It's Mini Missile. When Arc Missile deals damage, or when Delightful Companion and Mint Mend heal, Attal will gain Tranquility. It's a little bar above your health. Whenever it's full, your next reload consumes all of your Tranquility to load your drawn weapon with Mini Missile. You also regain 10 Tranquility per second, and this increases by 30% when you are out of combat. The second and third levels increase the damage of your mini missiles, and the fourth level causes mini missiles that are added to the drawn weapons to also be added to any stowed weapons and reloading them. This is very, very nice. I do not personally have it yet, but I do know it significantly improves your damage output. Her fifth level doubles the damage of Mini Missile. Very nice. Now I'm going to go over her talent tree a little bit differently because as a 4-star, it's a lot more realistic that you might get talents. I think that her most impactful one is going to be her talent 1. This increases your arc missiles max number of charges to 2. And I am going to take this into account for some of my damage calculations, though it's not going to be significant enough that this is considered necessary. It's just something that's nice and something that you probably will end up getting just from playing on the standard banner a little bit. Her talent 2 is that each ricochet of arc missile grants her a 5% damage resistance and increases her healing potency by 6% for 6 seconds. This stacks up to 10 times. Her third causes tranquility gained from casting abilities to accumulate with 30% more efficiency. Her fourth is that Mince Mend charge time is reduced to 8 seconds. This might matter later, but if so, I will update this build guide with a comment or something of the sort. Her fifth talent is improved craftsmanship. Arc missiles can now ricochet 5 times, and the max ricochet distance is increased to 12 meters. And her sixth talent is using Mint Mend on an ally or herself while either of them has their super active, grants them both a 30% damage bonus for 10 seconds. Very nice. I interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to tell you about this video's sponsor, MumuPlayer. I personally play Destiny Rising using MumuPlayer. The reason for this is that if I try to play it on my phone, there's overheating, frame drops, it drains my battery extremely quickly. The small screen makes it difficult to see what's going on in the game and makes the touch controls very difficult to handle. MumuPlayer is free and ad-free. It's the official emulator that is supported for Destiny Rising, meaning that it runs as well as possible. It also has great controls with keyboard and mouse precision, the best performance I've had out of using any emulator beforehand, and extremely stable high FPS. As you can see through the counter in the top right of all of the gameplay here, I'm consistently from 60 to 100 FPS despite running the game on max settings and going through some of the most particle intensive gameplay in the game. You can use my link down below to download Mumu emulator and get started on Destiny Rising or upgrade your experience with the game if you're already an ongoing player. Join me on the official, free, and ad-free MumuPlayer Destiny Rising experience. Now getting into the artifacts. First, we're going to go with Ring of Abundance. Very simple here. This increases the potency of healing and overshields received at the current perk level, which is 4 for me. This is at 38.4%. Extremely significant. This will rise to 48% once we unlock level 5. This ties directly in with Ring of Conversion, which is probably the best artifact I can think of to have on her. This causes 64% of overflow healing from your own abilities specifically to be converted into an overshield that lasts 6 seconds. This, with her passive alone, gives her max overshield almost all of the time. And if you ever use Min's Joy on yourself, it will almost immediately give you half overshield, and then the resulting healing that you gain from the passive will max it out extremely quickly, even if you're actively taking damage. I've used this exact setup in order to fully tank being inside of and the main focus of the impact shields while they're shooting at you before they are broken, this being in the Gauntlet raid. Then we have Talisman of Unity, which healing a target to 100% health grants them an 8% damage bonus for 6 seconds. This is not the only thing you can run here. I think this is the best if you are looking at team play. However, if you're going for solo play, Courageous Planetesimal does give you more damage for a longer period of time. So definitely keep that in mind. It's going to have significantly more uptime for you. So if all you're caring about is your own personal damage, I would recommend Courageous Planetesimal. For your 4th slot, I'm going to recommend Ring of Reflection. This gives you a very nice damage bonus of 20% at max that is equal to the overshield value versus max health times 56% roughly. Because you are going to be working with a max overshield so frequently, this is going to give you a super nice damage bonus. I think with all of this combined, along with like other buffs and stuff, I'm able to hit for 100k per headshot while using the rebranded Queensbreaker. So I definitely recommend Ring of Reflection here. Another thing I could see being used is Bellicose Planetesimal, but I kind of did the math here, and it basically makes it so that every time you cast a signature ability, you get an 18%, or at level 4, a 24% weapon damage for 6 seconds. So we're comparing this to the 20%. It is more damage if you look at just that number. The only difference is Ring of Reflection doesn't have a timer on it. As long as you have max overshield, you deal the max damage. Versus with Bellicose, if you cast Mist Joy once, then wait 6 seconds roughly until you use an arc missile. From then, you will get 3 casts of Mist Joy across 26 seconds of waiting, and 2 casts of arc missile over the next 34 seconds, assuming you have for talent 1 and you are timing everything perfectly. This only gives you 30 seconds out of the 34 seconds that exist in this time period of uptime on this buff, and that's if you manage everything perfectly in all of your resources. So if you're really trying hard to play some like micromanaging game, you can definitely run Bellicose Planetesimal with Courageous Planetesimal and then really try to get the most out of all of your abilities and increasing the damage. But not only does this, of course, only apply to weapons, it's also way more work to maintain versus Ring of Reflection. You just have it on and then make sure your overshield is up for an equally significant damage increase. So now that we have an explanation on how we want to play her in general with her abilities, let's go over some weapons. As of right now, you only have one mythic hand cannon option. That's the Del 7 Cement. The traits on it are pretty good. I think that the best one is Fraternity, because all this requires is that all of your fire team members are alive and you get a significant damage increase. Very nice. And then the best perk in the second slot, I would say, is going to be between Ensured Yields and Black Body, because Black Body removes the stacks only upon death. And Ensured Yields is just really nice for something like a boss damage or any high health enemies, because odds are with a hand cannon you are going to reload before that enemy dies. That's just how this game tends to operate. I have a subpar roll by only having Fraternity and no real good perk in my second slot, but if I were to have that choice, I would choose to have Ensured Yields in that second slot. For the Royal Contravene, or as everyone knows what it is, the rebranded Queensbreaker, I'm going to recommend using Marksman Sights for greater damage, slower charge time, and it fires a single precision arc bolt that chains to nearby targets and blinds on hit. There is the Combat Sights, which fires a 3-round burst. I potentially need to do more testing for it, but I found that Marksman Sights is better, especially if you're more liberal with its usage, just because you're getting more damage per shot, which as far as I'm aware, makes your ammo last longer. It makes the weapon overall more impactful, even if you might not do as much burst. What I do know is that I'm pretty sure this is her best damage dealing weapon. Both Old Prefect and Crimson are still good, and if you have them and don't have Queensbreaker, well, you've only got one option for a good linear fusion anyway. Really, we do need more weapons for her archetype, but it is still good to know. The Catalyst, this refills the weapon from reserves based on the number of hits. So this could also better synergize with the Combat Sights in a way that I do not foresee. However, for now, this is my general review of the weapon and my general guide on using it with her. I highly recommend using this build to maintain her overshield as much as possible while dealing heavy damage with Queenbreaker. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment what you think down below, and subscribe to the channel. Also, get an edge on Destiny Rising on PC with MumuPlayer. It's official, which means it works as well with the game as possible, it's free, and it doesn't cover itself with ads. Download now using my link in the description and comment down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.